morning. My name is Bogdan. I am running the engineering team, which is building the AI and data flows features in Power BI. And I have my colleague, Justina Jutnik.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you very much for showing up early in the morning. I understand that probably half of you live west from here, so it must be even earlier. At least it is for us. We love seeing so many people here. We love the interest that we've seen in the community for the AI features, and we hope that you are going to find something useful in our presentation today.
Need to figure out which way the slides work.
There you go.
All right.
So what we'll cover today, we'll talk just a bit about AI and Power BI and what it means. We are going to show you a few demos for what we intend to offer the analyst, and then we'll show a few more demos for end users. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but Microsoft is investing in machine learning and AI for BI for about 20 years. The first features that are related to machine learning and AI appeared in 1999 in a product called SQL Server 2000. Microsoft has one of the best research organizations in the world. We have some of the most talented data scientists across everything AI. We have a very successful BI product, and we decided to bring this together. We decided to give the BI users the power of everything that Microsoft Research produces. So this is the main reason for our investment here. We also believe that AI is transformational for everything, particularly for the BI industry, because we try to enable you to do more with your data and to find insights and to find things that are difficult to discover otherwise.
Cool. Before I start, can you guys hear us okay? Because I saw some people, yeah? Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to kind of do first of a kind of bit of an overview of a deep dive into what kinds of capabilities we provide and which personas we cater towards. And from the Power BI world, we really try to cater towards the whole spectrum of users, starting from our business users to our analysts to our data scientists, but cater to them in slightly different ways. So if we start with the end users all the way here on the left-hand side, what our mission really is how can we just provide insights for our business users? How can we allow them to just proactively find insights without having to slice and dice all the data themselves and just be able to learn new things from their data? Similarly, from a natural language perspective, we just want it to be very, very easy and intuitive to be able to, again, get answers out of your data. So if I just want to type in a question, that should just be super seamless for me inside Power BI. Moving on to the analyst persona, it's really about providing our analysts with a toolkit of capabilities that they can do more with things like machine learning and Power BI. But our analysts are not our data science persona. It's not about enabling them with Jupyter notebooks and having them write some Python code. It's really about how can we bring, and particularly the power of Azure services. We have so much going on in Azure with cognitive services, with automated ML, with Azure ML. How can we bring a lot of those capabilities to our analysts, but in ways that are familiar and intuitive to them? So how can they just do one-click functions and operations to do things like textual analytics, or to build their own machine learning models directly inside Power BI? For our data scientists, we're not really trying to compete with tools like Python or R, or again, with things like the Azure Machine Learning Service. We're using Power BI more as a way to complement those users. So being able to do things like integrate with R and integrate with Python and give data scientists an ability to be able to share their findings with business users, but leave them in the tools that they're familiar with, but allow them to work with Power BI too. So for the rest of the presentation, we're really going to be mostly doing a deep dive into demos. So it's going to be very demo-driven, and it's going to be split into two. Bogdan is going to be covering a lot of the analyst capabilities, and we're really going to do a lot of focus on the automated machine learning capabilities. Out of just curiosity, how many of you have heard about the automated ML capabilities in Power BI? Okay, quite a few of you. Have any of you played around with it yourselves? Okay, fewer hands. So what we want to do today, and what Bogdan will be going through, is really taking an end-to-end scenario, not just to show you the capabilities of automated ML in Power BI, but actually take you through an end-to-end use case. And I would love for you guys, as Bogdan is talking, to think about how this relates to your business and the types of problems you solve. But really, we want to show you not just, hey, this is how you can, there's a wizard, and this is how you can build a machine learning model, but how you can really get business value out of automated machine learning. And then from my perspective, we're going to go through more of the end user persona, some of the more fun visual demos. I may be biased, I'm joking. No, Bogdan's going to do great, I promise you. But we're going to look at things like, again, a little bit of what we went through in the keynote demo, so there will be a little bit of repetition. But I want to give you guys a little bit more context into what is our thinking behind things like the Q&A visual, or our thinking behind the decomposition tree. So talk more about our AI visualizations investment and what we're going to be doing over there. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Bogdan to go through some of the more analyst-oriented demos.
There are two things that I'd like you to remember, if possible, at the end of my 15 minutes demo. First, we have amazing automation capabilities in Power BI to get rid of the most daunting tasks related to machine learning. Everything that you have to do anyway, everything that is routine, we automate it for you. And I'll go through those. But that's just a nice part of Power BI. We try to take care of your needs. There is a second part which is more important here. Machine learning, besides being a nice, catchy demo, besides being fun and everything else with regard to your data, it's a powerful tool for solving problems. So I'm going to switch to the demo now. 5. Okay, 3. There you go. And there you go. What I'm showing you here is a real problem. I'm going to tell you what is real and what is not really real about what I'm describing here. Tanzania, it's a great country in Africa. It's one of the largest countries in Africa. It has lots of water, but it's not uniformly distributed. Many of the people in Tanzania, like 50% of the people in Tanzania, do not have access to clean water. There is a data set that was offered publicly by the Water Ministry of Tanzania. The data set contains records for about 60,000 pumps. There are water pumps that are installed in villages and various places, and they're trying to offer clean water to people there. So they have pumps that are likely to break in the future, and they would love if they could predict which pumps are likely to break in order to intervene, and in order to fix those pumps. It is much cheaper to send somebody to fix a pump before it breaks than it is to leave a whole community without water. So this is a real problem. Now, the fictitious part of this is that I'm going to pretend that I'm working for an organization that has a limited budget of $1 million. I'm going to pretend that fixing one pump takes $1,000. I made up these numbers. But the problem that I'm trying to tackle is how should I focus my efforts if I have a limited budget? And this is a problem that appears frequently in marketing, in any kind of a business settings. The purpose of the demo is to show you how I learn from the historical data to figure out where should I focus my attention, and then how I apply those learnings directly onto the problem in order to do as much good as I can with a limited budget. So the data that I'm using, the historical data, is stored right now in a Power BI data flow. And excuse me for a second for a shameless plug for data flow. Data flow is another product that we are working on. It's a great product. It's basically Power Query that you know in desktop running in the sky. And there is convenience there, because if you build your ETL, self-service ETL in the cloud, that means many people can use it in their reports. But from an AI perspective, it means that instead of running Power Query on your laptop, you are running Power Query on Azure. And that means that your computing power behind this thing is significantly larger than what you get on your desktop. This is what allowed us to do machine learning very easily in data flows. How many people here use data flows or heard about data flows? Fantastic. So I don't need to go too much into details. Now, the data set that I have, again, contains historical pump records. For each pump, I know the amount of water they're pulling, when this information has been collected, I know who installed it, what is the population that it serves, and so on and so forth. I know topographical information like what kind of land is there, is it dry or not, and I know whether the pump is functional or not. Just for the sake of simplicity, I have created a calculated column, which tells me this is not functional. And this is the column that I created. As you see, a non-functional pump is marked as true. These are the pumps that I'm looking for. These are the pumps that I'm trying to detect, the pumps that are not going to work anymore. Now, in order to launch machine learning on top of a data flow, I need to go on this icon here, the small brain icon. And if I press the button, I can add a machine learning model. At this point, I'm instructing Power BI to create a machine learning model on top of that data flow, on top of that entity. The first thing that I have to do is to specify what is that I'm trying to predict. Now, in this case, I really want to predict whether a pump is going to be not functional. I want to predict if the pump is going to fail. When I hit next, Power BI is going to do a few things. The first thing is that it's going to look at the data inside that column. There are many machine learning techniques. Based on the data inside, Power BI may decide to suggest me to use classification, regression, forecasting, or different other techniques. In this case, Power BI detected that my column is a Boolean. It has two states, true and false. And this suggests that I'm doing binary prediction. I'm not limited to that. I can go here, click this link, and pick a different model. And the data type behind this column supports a few classes of algorithms. And the one I choose to do now is binary prediction because, indeed, it's a two-state problem. Now, we do support regression. Very soon, we are going to add forecasting to the OTML toolkit. We do support general classification, and we do support binary prediction. And I'd like to just describe for a second the difference between general classification and binary prediction. So general classification is the problem of differentiating fruits between orange, apples, bananas, and whatever. I want to have a clear demarcation line. The classification models are going to truly try to separate all the classes best. The binary prediction models are, in a sense, very similar to general classification. Now, first, they're focusing on two states. So I could say that I'm looking for apples and not apples. But the second thing about binary prediction is that in binary prediction, I'm kind of hinting the model what I care about. I want to find apples. Apples are important to me. I want to throw away non-apples. And that means that the report that we are going to produce allows me to assign a value to a prediction, to a correct finding of an apple. Just like in this case, I'm going to assign a value to identification of a pump that doesn't work. So I'm going to use binary prediction, as I said, for this task, because I do have a value for the pumps that I'm detecting. I'm hitting next. The next thing that Power BI does is actually just a bit of magic. It will look at all the data in my data flow, and it's going to analyze it. It's going to analyze the correlations between the fields in my data flow and my target. And if we look here for a second, we can see that this is a recommended feature, amount TSH. It means that our analysis found a certain connection between that feature and my target. We see that funder, for instance, is not a recommended feature. Funder is not a recommended feature because it has high cardinality. That means that I have lots of distinct values there that do not seem to connect in any way to my data. There's not much to learn from those distinct values. I'm going to scroll down to one of my favorite pieces of information found by this analysis, which emphasizes one of my mistakes, because I rushed a bit for this demo. But everything is for the better. Look at this, high correlation. So the Boolean column that I created that by putting an if statement in Power Query. I'm basically saying if the status group is not functional, then true. Power BI looked at this. It detected that from a statistical perspective, the values in my target are very tightly correlated with the status group. So it detected this as what is called the leaky predictor, a column that foretells the future, and it shouldn't be there because probably I do not have access to it. I may disagree with Power BI. I may go and check that box. But Power BI decided that this is going to give me a false accuracy in the model.
And just to kind of add to this, this is an enrichment and addition we made to automated ML, and it's actually a direct result of the feedback as our users gave us, where you told us, you want to get taken on more of a journey as you use automated ML. You want Power BI to actually help you figure out, what is a good feature, what's not a good feature. Many analysts are just starting out with machine learning and Power BI, so this is also our way of just using Power BI to try and help you learn what are good features in the machine learning model versus no. And we're going to be trying to add more and more of this sort of guidance and prescription along the way to help you on this machine learning journey in Power BI.
Thank you. As you know, we are shipping every month. We are shipping, actually, the service we are shipping every week. Every week we are going to try to add something new to this experience based on your feedback. Now, again, I selected my features. Now, there are a few other things that I'd like to show you. If you feel that data is missing from your model, you can go to this advanced configuration, and you can switch immediately to the rest of Power Query experience. You can bring more data in. To my knowledge, this is the only tool that allows you today to shape your data, bring your data from different places, and model it in the same time. So we really try to integrate the machine learning experience with the fantastic data shaping experience you have in Power Query. Let's assume that I'm happy with the data that I have here, and I want to move to creating a machine learning model. I need to name my model, predict, will fail, or something like this. I can, okay, a name exists. I can assign a label to my targets. I'm going to say true and false just to avoid any confusion. Please keep in mind, true means it will fail. false means it won't. And then if I hit save and refresh, we are going to start training the machine learning model. I'm not going to train it right now, and I'll explain in a second why. But the result of training the machine learning model is a report, which, I lost my mouse, there you go. Looks more or less like this. Now, I'm going to go through a few important sections of this report. The top of the report tells me that Power BI did what is to be expected from a standard machine learning development process. It tells me, as you will see here, that we split the data into training and testing. We picked an algorithm. We did, I mean, any statistician will tell you that we need to do that. And I'm not going to spend too much time explaining why we did this. Happy to take any questions later. But then, Power BI tells me which are the key influencers. It tells me which of the features inside my data actually strongly impact the outcome. If you see here, we see that the quantity of water, that the water point type and everything else do impact the target. The tornado chart that you see tells me which are the most important features. If you look at this quantity field for just a second, on the right-hand side, we tell you how it impacts the target. And yellow means lots of true. So yellow means that you are going to get lots of pump failures. And the way I interpret this is that if the land is very dry, then the pump is very, very likely to fail. Now, this is kind of obvious, but there is an easy solution there. That means that if you put a sensor on that pumps, you can actually prevent it because somebody, knowing that the land is very dry, yet decided to install a pump because it's needed. So this is a very actionable piece of information that I'm getting here. And I'll step out of this and go one step further and show you how Power BI tells me something about the accuracy of the model. So a model is never perfect. It may be very useful. A model is going to make predictions. But you have to keep in mind that the model does not know anything about true or false. The model is a mathematical construct which is going to yield a number. It's going to produce a number between 0 and 1, and we choose to call that number a probability. Now, in real-life situations, we tend to believe that 50% means something. We tend to believe that everything about 50% is like a good candidate for true, and anything below 50% is not such a good candidate for true. But in reality, that 50% cutoff is a bit arbitrary. Now, if you think of this, I mean, the model it's a good mathematical construct. It's optimized for something. If you think of this 50% threshold as a bar, and again, we are looking for pumps. If you raise that bar, it means that everything that exceeds the bar has a very high likelihood of being a correct prediction. If you think in terms of, correlating test scores with children's knowledge of a subject, it's never perfect. But you can say that, among people who score 90% or higher, there is a higher probability to have good mastering of the subject than among people who have 0 to 10% scores. Again, there are always mistakes. But raising the bar increases the chances, increases what is the purity of results above the bar. And this purity of results above the bar, correctness of true predictions above the bar, is called precision. Now, the problem with precision, it's really nice to have precision. It's really nice that all my predictions are true. The problem with precision is that if you raise the bar too high, you are missing many children, in my previous example, who are really good, but just did not do well on one test. And the measure that tells me how many of the really good children I've identified with my bar is called recall. And as you imagine now, playing with this bar is basically always a trade-off between precision and recall. Now, if I'm going to use my model in a marketing campaign, if I raise the bar too high, it means that all my customers will respond positively, but I'm going to miss many opportunities. If I lower the bar, then I'm going to find all the customers who are likely to respond, but I'm going to spend lots of money on a marketing campaign. If I'm going back to my pumps situation, if I raise my bar, all the pumps that I identify as needing repair will be true defective pumps. Going there will not be a waste of money, but there are many pumps that I will miss. If I lower the bar too much, I will have fixed all the pumps, but I'm going to run out of budget very soon. So this is what is shown in this matrix. The precision and recall numbers are here. And this slider allows me to model the trade-off. If I raise the bar to, let's say, 77, you see that my precision moved from 81 to 95 precision. But my recall is 55. That means I'm only finding about half of the entities that I'm looking for, of the pumps that are likely to break. If I'm lowering the bar to 20-something, then my precision drops, but my recall is almost 100%. And We listened to you, and we got some amazing feedback on how to make this better. And I'm going to show you in a second how to quantify the impact of this threshold. But before that, I want to tell you exactly what happened. If you are a statistician, if you expect some specific results, specific accuracy metrics for your report, you will find those in our second page. Our product is not mainly intended for statisticians, but for those of you in the room who have a statistical background, you'll find in the second page everything you are looking for. And last but not least, I mentioned when I launched the wizard that I will not train the model right now. The reason I did not train the model is that behind we are using a technology called AutoML, automated ML. This technology comes from Azure ML. Now, many of you may have read in papers about machine learning or about how machine learning is taking over the world, that there are many, many algorithms that can be applied to machine learning. Trees, regression, networks, deep learning, deep belief networks, Bayesian, lots of them. All of them have tons of parameters and configurations and settings that you need to tune for your problem. It takes probably a PhD degree to understand in depth one or two of those algorithms. And we don't expect our users to have the time or to have an army of PhDs working for them. So Microsoft Research produced this automated ML algorithm, which basically you can think of it as a supermodel that learned from all the models built by Microsoft Research. And that supermodel is guiding our search through the space of algorithms and parameters. And it takes a very, very short path. But the short path in this case is 49 iterations or 39 iterations. And as you can see on the screen, the accuracy goes up. And the automated ML system always tells us, try this, and it leads us into the right direction. But it takes 39 iterations. That's about 25 minutes of compute time over this 60,000 rows data set. If you are interested in what else automated ML did for you, we can go down and see lots of technical specifications. But again, I promise that I'm going to focus on the business outcome. So let's go back to the first page, and let's see how we can tie this precision and recall trade-off to the real business problem. Now, we had some very interesting conversations with some of you in the room discussing how to make this more easy to use for the business user. And we had very strong suggestions to associate a cost and the benefit to the deployment of the machine learning model. And this is a feature that will come out in a few weeks. It's called our cost-benefit analysis. Let's assume for a second that I'm going to use this model for a marketing campaign. Let's assume for a second that I have a list of my customers and I have 10,000 customers that I may reach out to with this marketing campaign. That is the number on the bottom part of the screen. Let's assume that, when I reach out to the customer, there is a cost. I don't know, maybe I make a phone call, maybe I try to send them some sort of magazine, I don't know, but there is a marketing cost for that. And let's assume for a second that is just $1, because we can put any number then. You see here that there is a unit cost field where I can specify exactly how much does it cost me to act on a prediction. Again, that is to say, if my model tells me this guy is going to be true, how much does it cost me to act on that prediction? Then the second parameter is the benefit. If this guy is really true, if my model was correct, what is my benefit? How much do I expect to make out of that marketing campaign? And in this case, the number is 2. So if we do this, and if you think again at my metaphor of a bar that is moving, if my bar is very, very high, if my probability cutoff point is at 1 here, then I will not find enough customers. Nobody is good enough for me. If I lower the bar to 0, then I'm going to spam everybody, all the 10,000 customers. I'm going to pay lots of money on the marketing campaign. But I'm not going to get money back except from those guys who are truly paying, who are truly going to be correct predictions. And there is this curve, which very frequently in machine learning has this shape. And this curve has a sweet spot, a point where the profit is maximized. And Power BI looks automatically at this and tells you, under this modeling, if you are targeting a 10,000 people population, and if you are going to pay this cost, then the minimum probability threshold required for maximum profit is 0.51. So it found automatically under this cost modeling conditions, which is the best cutoff point for me. But again, going back to the example that I mentioned, I'm not trying to make a profit here. What I'm trying to do is something else. I'm trying to maximize the impact that I have with a limited budget. So I'm going to go to a cost-only version of this chart. And again, I have a cost. The cost is, let's say, $1,000 for one pump. Okay, where's this. Now, you can see that if I try to fix all the pumps, I have to spend $10,000. That's lots of money. My budget is 1 million. So what can I get for 1 million? I'm going to go here. You know, 1 million is probably in the middle. And you see that if I'm using a probability cutoff of, let's say, 0.97, then my costs are about exactly 1 million. So I'm going to take this 0.97 threshold. I'm going to go back here. I'll say 0.97. And I'll see how my model looks. Well, I will have a 99% precision. That tells me that I'm not going to waste almost any money. Or if you want, I'm going to waste 10,000 out of my million. And I'm going to reach 25% of the broken pumps. So that means that with 10% of the budget required to address all the pumps, I will have fixed 25% of the problem. That's a multiplier. That has business impact. Well, now that I've set up my threshold, I'm instructing my model to say every pump that has a probability higher than 97% should be labeled as a candidate for repair. Everything below should not be marked as a candidate for repair. And I'm going to apply the model. When I apply the model, I choose one of the entities in my data flow, new pumps. You see the threshold from my modeling is copied in this UI right now. And if I hit apply model, a new entity will be created in my data flow, which is called new pumps enrich with the predict will fail model. This contains pretty much all the information that I have about pumps, information that is in prediction, and it contains 3 more columns. The outcome, which is will break or not, according to my threshold. The actual prediction score, which is a number between 0 and 100. It reflects the probability multiplied by 100 to make it easy to report, and the prediction explanation. That is a big piece of information that tells me why this particular pump is likely to break. And I remind you that at the very beginning of looking at the training report, I showed you something called the key influencers in the model, which are the columns that actually impact the target. Now, the Microsoft research technology that we are using to produce explanations produces global explanations, which is what matters most across all the historical pumps, but also has the capability to produce local explanation. Why is this particular pump going to break? Now, with all this information, I can go back to my original report, and I can blend the predictions in my report. And then I see this. 258 pumps in my data set are really likely to fail. Again, at risk here means at risk according to my modeling. It means that they have a very high probability of failing. I see here how they're broken down by region, and I'm going to pick this first particular pump here. It's a pump in Dar es Salaam, which is the capital of Tanzania. And we look at the explanations, and the explanation, I mean, this pump has a probability of failure of 100%, if you see a score. And if we look at the breakdown, we see how we look at most of the features describing that pump. We see how the quantity of water pushes up the risk of failure. We see how the GPS height pushes down the risk of failure, because most of the pumps at that altitude are actually not likely to fail, but there is something awkward about this one. We see how the extraction type also pushes down the risk, and we see how all the features of that pump are adding up to my score. So with this, I know which are the pumps that I should address, which are the 258 pumps that are going to just allow me to maximize the impact of my budget. And with this, I know why each and every pump is likely to fail. So when I'm sending a person there to fix it, I can give them indications, and I can tell them what to look for. Like in this case, I probably should tell them, install a sensor, because the land is dry. So everything I've shown you here, like I said, is based on a real problem. The data is real. The accuracy that AutoML generated for us is absolutely real. The cost and benefits and the budget constraints are kind of made up. But in reality, in any business problem where you intend to use predictive analytics, you do have such constraints. You do have a budget that you can associate with your marketing campaign. You are looking for a sweet spot to figure out which of these customers I should target. And I'd like you to retain 2 things out of this demo. Again, the way we automate things in Power BI, we are automating really, really powerful technology. We are harnessing lots of things from Microsoft Research. We are trying to really make it easy for you, but we are not making it easy just for the sake of making it easy. We are making it easy because this technology has a real impact on your business problems. Thank you. So I mentioned that this is the automated ML technology. You will hear about automated ML in Power BI. You will hear about automated ML in Azure. And I just want to explain a bit what is common and what is different between this automated ML in Power BI and in Azure. It's the same technology. It's literally the same code. If you choose to use it in Azure, it means that probably you are closer to being a data scientist. You have more flexibility in Azure. You can choose how long you want to run your algorithms. You can choose even the algorithms that will be picked by automated ML. It's a more flexible way of using automated ML. If you use it in Power BI, we are focusing on the business user. If you are going to use it in Azure, you are going to need to have your own Azure subscription. If you use it in Power BI, you don't need to pay anything, because if you have a premium capacity, we host it there for you. It's part of the value that we are offering our premium customers. You buy your course, you are free to run whatever you want. The machine learning model that you build in Azure using automated ML can be hosted in Azure. You can share it with other applications. The machine learning model that you are building in Power BI is initially hosted in Power BI. I'm going to talk in a second how you can move things back and forth. You do need an Azure subscription, as I said, or you do need a premium subscription in Power BI, because in both cases, it takes significant computation power to get these models and to optimize the accuracy. Now, for the future, today, if you have any model in Azure ML, you can, I think we switch. Oh, yeah, sorry. If any model in Azure ML, you can bring it to Power BI. But for the future, we want to enable you to take models built in Power BI and push them to Azure. The reason you do this is either that your model is very important for the business and you want to upgrade it from a business analyst problem solver to something that actually is used across the business, or you want to publish it as a web service, or you may want a data scientist to curate your model and refine it further. So probably by the end of the summer, we are going to have the ability to export the machine learning models created by automated ML in Power BI to Jupyter notebooks. So we are going to add this export model verb here. We are going to produce a Jupyter notebook which encodes everything that we done automatically for you, and you can hand this over to a data scientist. For the second part of the demo, I'd like to talk a bit about Azure ML and cognitive services. Azure ML and cognitive services, the integration of Power BI with these features goes public this week in general availability. You can use it already, I think. And if not, you are going to be able to use it tomorrow. This is one of the easiest ways to use machine learning. This is about using machine learning models that are built by somebody else. If you have data scientists in your organization who are building Azure ML models, you can very easily use those models to enrich your Power BI data. If you don't have data scientists, but you have rich data, unstructured data inside Power BI, you can now use cognitive services to extract value from that data. We've shown this demo many, many times, so probably many of you have seen it, but I just want to show you how easy it is to invoke a machine learning model in Power BI. Okay, of course. And because I've shown you in the first part of my presentation data flows, what I'm going to show you right now, it's an upcoming feature. This is not yet there. It's going to show up in a few months. The experience is the same, but I want to show you that we're working in that direction. This is invoking cognitive services and invoking Azure ML models from the desktop. So you will have the ability to do this without any kind of data flows. You are going to do it directly on your data. So the data set that I've loaded here contains information about hotel reviews. I know the location. I know the comment that customers made about their room. Some comments are positive, some of them are negative. I have even things like latitude, longitude, and the URL of the picture that the customer may have associated with that comment. With this upcoming feature, again, this is going to be available in a few months in desktop, and this is available today in data flows. You will be able to click AI Insights in order to enrich your data set with new columns. When you click the AI Insights button, we are giving you access to machine learning models that are already hosted on one of your premium capacities, such as the cognitive services. And we are also giving you access to any Azure ML model that you are entitled to look at. So we are going to scan Azure ML, figure out to which models you have access. We are going to get a list of those models, and we are going to wrap all of those models in functions. For instance, I have an Azure ML model here that can do image classification. I can pass anything from my data flow, from my Power Query as an argument to this model. And if I hit OK, then we are going to invoke that model and do image classification over the information from Power Query. Or if I'm doing cognitive services, I can choose to score sentiment, and I'm going to hit run. At this point, all the guest comments in my data set are going to be pushed to cognitive services. We are going to do sentiment analysis and yield back a number. If the number is closer to 0, that means the comment is mostly negative. If the number is closer to 1, that means the comment is mostly favorable. Now, cognitive services are a set of machine learning models built across Microsoft properties. They have, these models are trained on top of Word documents, on top of big searches. So they're some of the best models that you may find for sentiment analysis, for image tagging, and for other tasks like this. And we try to make those available to you for free in the premium subscription. So as you see here, I have some scores associated with comments, and I have, let's pick this here, 0.04. That's a very negative sentiment. If I go here, I see that the comment is that the first impression was not great. So with this, I can now use this quantification of sentiments in the report, and I end up with very rich reports like this, which allow me to see aggregations of sentiment by hotel and so on and so forth. You've probably seen this demo a number of times already. Again, thank you very much. Do you want to talk a bit about the cognitive services? Yeah.
Awesome. Sure. So just to wrap up that bit really quickly, I'm just going to put up the cheat sheet for cognitive services, because I know people like to take pictures of these slides. But again, differences between cognitive services in Power BI, cognitive services in Azure. Very similar to what we talked about with automated ML. It's a different persona. One is really the data scientist, data developer, leveraging tools inside Azure, coding using things like C# or Python. Power BI is really designed for the business analyst. As Bogdan showed you, there's no coding required at all. It's just one-click operations to do things like textual analytics, image detection, just coming out of the box. Again, one is living completely inside Power BI, so it makes a lot more sense if everything is constrained to Power BI. If you want to use these cognitive services, I don't know, in parts of your workflows, other parts of your, maybe a web app that you've built, Azure will give you more versatility because it's, kind of is separated away from the kind of just Power BI land. And one is, again, requiring Power BI Premium to do all the computation. For Azure, it requires an Azure subscription, so slightly different models for pricing as well. So with that, let's shift gears. Let's talk a little bit about our end users. And if you went to the Power BI session yesterday, you will have seen some of these demos already. But I want to talk a little bit deeper about why are we investing in these capabilities, what's the rationale, and also talk a little bit about what else we're going to be adding to some of these features too. So the really big area of investment for us from an end user perspective can be all encapsulated under this concept of AI visualizations. We really want to be able to democratize getting insights for both analysts in terms of preparation of data and business users for consuming that data in a very kind of easy and intuitive way. And analysts know how to build visualizations in Power BI today. End users know how to consume them. They do this every day when they look at their reports and dashboards. So our thinking behind this as well, if we can build intelligence into a visual, but keep the constructs and paradigms the same, where an analyst can just author a visual, an end user can consume it, then we can bring some of these capabilities and democratize them in ways that more accessible than if we added maybe, not to bash the wizard with automated ML or anything, but it just opens it up to more people this way. And so I want to really just dive into this sort of box over here and just go through a couple of demos. So first of all, how many of you have seen demos of key influencers, are familiar with it? Okay, so about half of the room, actually. So it's worth for me talking a little bit about what the visualization is. This is the first AI visualization that we worked on. It's in private preview at this point in time. And I'm going to jump into an environment over here to just do a demo. And what this visualization is all about is it's really about allowing you to figure out if there's a metric you're interested in, what actually influences that metric. So maybe I'm interested in looking at something like churn. What influences a customer of mine to churn or not churn? I can also look at numeric data. Maybe what influences a house price to increase or decrease. Measure support is something that we are working on, and it's going to be coming soon. But for the purpose of this demo, I'm actually going to be looking at a categorical field. And so jumping back, Bogdan briefly touched on the hotel review scenario. We didn't want to go into too much detail because we've done this demo a lot, but I wanted to show you some new functionality that's coming to key influencers as a result of the feedback, again, that you guys have given us. But in this case, I have a data set that's looking at hotel guests. So let's imagine I'm a hotel manager for a second. And I have a data set of looking at all the guests who have visited my hotel and who have come back the next year. So if we jump into the data set view just for a second over here, we look at our customers table. What we have over here is a field that tells us whether a customer who visited us last year, whether they came back this year or not. So it's literally just a field saying not returning or returning. And we have a lot of information about the customer, such as whether maybe they purchased a spa visit when they were here, whether they rented sports equipment, which country are they visiting us from. So lots of potential attributes that could be influencing whether they came back or not. So I've started authoring this visual here already. And the key influencers visual you can find over here. It's this little icon that you'll see over here. It's a private preview, public preview feature, sorry. So if you go into your desktop, you enable it under your features, previews, then you can start using it. It's not available just if you open it up without enabling it. But what I can do here is I can select what field I want to analyze. So I've already gone ahead and added that over here. You can see I'm analyzing my customer field. And that's what's yielding me this question to come up on the screen, which is saying, what influences customers to return? And now I can just start dragging various fields that I think might have an influence. So maybe what was their initial interest in visiting my hotel in the first place? And I have a couple of options here, and we can see the visualization automatically behind the scenes is actually running a logistic regression. And it's telling me, well, we found based on your data that customers who come and visit you to relax are more likely to come back than those who come to visit for sightseeing, for sports activities, for honeymoons. So what we're doing on the left-hand side is actually giving you the output of what the model has found in terms of the rank list of influencers. But on the right-hand side, again, during our user studies, we heard, great, this is useful, but I need to kind of validate this with my own data. So this is really about helping you get to insights quicker. It's not about building a predictive model. There's nothing, you can see here that's all going to be descriptive. We're not giving you predicted probabilities like we do with automated ML. It's just helping you figure out what's important in your data and giving you visualizations you could have built yourself, like the one on the right-hand side, but doing it quicker and helping you find those insights faster. So what I can start doing is just bringing in more field. Maybe if they've purchased a spa visit, maybe their reservation type, maybe the country that they're visiting from. And every time I bring in one of these fields, and this is what's super important about all the AI visualizations you're going to see coming out from us, is the model just reruns every time. It's fully interactive. We just throw away the model we just built, and we completely rebuild it on the fly. Because this should just behave like any other Power BI visualization that you're used to. So we can see the list of influencers has actually changed now. The top factor is now whether you're visiting us from the UK. You're over 2 times more likely to come back the next year than if you are visiting us from any other country. So what we've actually heard in terms of a lot of feedback from customers is, this is really, really useful, but the piece of information I'm missing is understanding how many customers does this actually impact in my data set. I'm going to use a different example. Someone came up to me after a session I did in Build, and they were talking about NPS score. And they were telling me about, hey, we're using key influencers, and it's telling us if, a customer hits this bug, for example, they're like 50 times more likely to give us a bad NPS score. But there's about 10 customers in my data set who have hit this. Now, we do run significance tests on top of the data. So we use industry standards, p-values of 0.05. So if you've done statistics before, that's the kind of benchmark for the industry. But the kind of important message here is we do filter out things that are not significant. But again, different customers will have different ideas of what significance means in terms of their own business value. So what we've added to the visualization, and this is coming soon, is if we jump into formatting options, you're going to be able to basically enable counts on top of the visual. So I'm going to just toggle this over here, and I'm going to enable these counts. And what that does is it's very subtle, but we don't want to overwhelm the visual. But you can see there's a little bit of a thin overlay on top of the bubbles that gives you actually an indicator of how many users is this impacting in my data set. So you can see for the UK, it's really, really small. It's just about valuable. It's just about over here. But if we look at something like maybe purchasing a spa visit, just by looking at the bubble, you can see that's about half of the population. And what you can also do is you can sort by impact or count if you enable counts. So if you sort by count, you can immediately get an indicator of which particular influencers impact the most people in my data set. So you can kind of toggle between both views. And we're hoping that's going to help basically allow you to focus on the influencers that really matter for you. In my case, maybe, even though over here, down there, I see countries, Japan is an influencer, and actually countries, UK is an influencer too, but they're only, and if you hover over it, we've also actually given you tooltips, which hopefully will load. There we go. That give you actually an approximation of how much data this contains. So you can see over here, if I zoom in, I think it's going to get messed up, but we can try, because I know it's very hard to read. No, we can't zoom in with tooltips, but it's about 5% of your data, you can believe me. Over here for the UK, this is about 2% of the data. So maybe for me, if the influencer I really want to focus on is this one over here, purchasing a spa visit, because that actually, the amount of people who have purchased a spa visit, maybe my hotel has this really amazing spa, it's actually about 48%, and the people who have done that are much more likely to come back. So with these two pieces of information, we hope that we can make this visualization a lot more valuable for you guys. So this is going to be coming soon. And then I want to jump into some of the capabilities, again, that we haven't released yet. You probably saw these in the keynote. But the first one of this is the Q&A visualization. So again, a little bit of the reasoning why we're investing in a Q&A visualization. If you are familiar with Q&A in Power BI, currently you can use Q&A on a dashboard. You can also add a Q&A button directly inside your report. But some of the feedback we heard, again, from you guys is with a Q&A button, it takes you kind of out of the context of the report. You click on this button and you ask your question, and then you kind of have to close the experience and go back into your report. So it's not a seamless experience that's just part of the whole report. And the analyst doesn't have much control over this experience. They add the button, they can maybe customize and style the button, but once Q&A comes up, that's it. That's controlled by us, basically. So by adding a Q&A visualization, as you can see over here, this is just going to be another visual inside the list of visualizations, as we can see over here. This gives the analyst full control to make this visualization just an integral part of the report. Like I showed in the session yesterday, there's going to be a lot of customization options where you can change. You can make this ugly very, very quickly. I know I'm just going to change around some of these things. I'm going to revert to default in a second. But you can see, you can change the font colors, the underline colors, the background colors, the suggestion boxes, the font colors of things, and backgrounds. You can make it, look very unlegible very, very quickly. So I'm just going to revert back to defaults. Again, theming. If you apply themes, the visualization will just update. So again, if you're an analyst and you're building this visual, you can just make it a seamless experience, and that's what we're really aiming for. We're adding enhancements such as these suggested questions, where again I can just select various questions, and again these are generated by Power BI, so it helps your business users just get started. What kinds of things can I ask Q&A? This really helps you figure out how to get started with it if it's the first time that you're seeing it. And again, because it's part of just your report, the cross-filtering works. If you remember with Q&A as a button, it's that out-of-body experience almost, where you use it, you close it. Here, if I only want to look at, let's say, electronic arts, the visualization is just going to cross-filter, and that's going to work both ways. So if I select something from the Q&A visual, it's going to cross-filter the rest of my report, and if I select another visual, it's going to cross-filter the Q&A visual. So it just makes it so much more seamless as an experience. If you have ever used, how many of you guys have used Q&A tooling? Okay, a couple of you, thank you. We're going to make this experience a lot easier. Again, if you're not familiar with the Q&A tooling today, it's basically editing a YAML file. So there's a lot of, not really a nice UI experience, a lot of manual work involved. With the new Q&A tooling over here that you see, this is going to be completely UI driven. You're going to be able to do a ton of things just by really, really simple gestures. And the thought around here was to just use Q&A to train Q&A itself. So if we ask a question, like let's say, go for global sales by, let's say, something like awesome publisher, let's use the example from yesterday, and we submit this question, you can firstly immediately see that awesome was not recognized. We don't know what awesome means. We don't have anything defined around awesome in the data model. So there's not much Q&A can do to help us here because it needs to understand this vocabulary. So when you submit this question, again, we want to make it really simple for you to figure out how you can add new vocabulary, new synonyms in this experience. So we actually use Q&A to almost give back a statement that you just have to answer. So you need to tell us what publishers that are awesome have. They must have some sort of attribute that makes them awesome that you can help us define. So in this case, I can do something like sentiment, if I can spell is over 0.5. And if I apply this, oh man, my spelling is really off today. There we go. And if I apply this fix, that's going to automatically show me what my new preview of the results looks like. So you can see the visualization has updated. And now this definition just lives inside my data model. Q&A will just know how to treat the word awesome from now on. Similarly, if I want to see what kinds of questions my users are asking, because that's ultimately what we want to do, right? As an analyst, you want to make sure that when your business users are using Q&A, they can have an experience where they can just have all of their questions answered. But you might not be the subject matter expert. You might not have all of their rich vocabulary, and you can't necessarily anticipate what kinds of questions they'll be asking. So if we jump into this fixed misunderstandings dialog, this is all of the questions that are being asked inside the service, inside the Power BI service, as a user is interacting with Q&A. So there's going to be a way to link up your Power BI report here with the data set that's published in the service. I think in the long run, this should be done automatically, but in the first situation, you'll probably be able to just link it. And you can see, all of the questions that were asked, and specifically all of the things that Q&A didn't understand. And this is really valuable for lots of different reasons. One thing is, if there's a question that your users are continuously asking, maybe you should think about adding a visualization to the report to just help them answer it, because clearly that's something that's important to them. But purely from a Q&A perspective, it really allows me to figure out what other vocabulary I need to add. And again, if I click on something like indie publisher, so here, maybe I want to fix the word indie. That's a word that's being used a lot in various questions. I can just submit this. And again, I can define maybe an indie publisher as has published maybe less than 2 games. And I'm going to apply this definition. And again, from now on, we know how to treat indie publishers when our business users ask us about this question. You see a preview of your result. And if we jump back, hopefully the internet's a little bit faster today. Yes, it is. We can see this has been applied to all of the different definitions that have used the word indie. So from now on, we just know how to treat this. And the final thing I wanted to show you is, imagine I didn't ask about publisher, but instead I used the word producer. So now we can use this new word we've used. So maybe we can use global sales by indie. Producer, indie is now recognized. Producer is not, but we still get the right answer. And again, this is going to be super cool. This is going to be a huge improvement to Q&A, because basically from now on, we're going to be integrating with Office thesaurus, with the Office synonyms. So that means that's a whole lot of new vocabulary that's just automatically added to your model. We don't understand the word producer. We don't have that defined in the data model, but we know from the Office synonyms that producer is a synonym for publisher. So we've actually answered the question, as you can see over here. Global sales by indie publisher. I can add that over here and automatically update the question. So again, there's just going to be a whole enhanced new vocabulary that your business users are going to just be able to use out of the box. So these are capabilities that are going to be coming soon. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to have a slide with our emails, because we really, really value your feedback. If there's pain points, use cases, features that you want to see, just email us. We really, really love talking to customers. It helps us make these products better. But there's also going to be a private preview for the new Q&A visual. So if you're interested in being participating as part of that, again, just get in touch with us. I'll have the emails up at the end. So the other visual that, again, is very exciting for us, it's number 2 on user voice is, of course, the decomposition tree. Again, if you went to James's keynote or Amir and Arun's session yesterday, you will have seen this. And this is a visualization that has a lot of history, if you're not familiar with it. There was a tool, how many of you are familiar with Performance Point for clarity? Okay, a couple of people, not as many people, but there is a lot of, just to give you the rest of you the context, this used to exist. Microsoft acquired a company that had this visualization. We kind of didn't end up doing much with it, and we made a lot of people very unhappy. So there's a subset of the community that's super, super excited to get this visualization back. But for those of you who haven't used it before, it's a great way to be able to explore your data. It's a great substitute to things like the matrix visualization. Because what this allows you to do, similarly to, let's say, a matrix, is break things down by various different dimensions. But it's a much more visual experience. And what's also special about this, is you can just easily explore different paths and have the visualization update. If you, again, select a visual, let's say, as from the left-hand side, sales by developer, I want to look at just my Ubisoft games. Again, the whole path just updates, and you can very easily kind of just intuitively track, that path. But let's jump into, again, just looking at how you can author this from scratch. And I just want to highlight a couple of things here. So how do you set up this visualization? Again, this is just going to be a visualization in Power BI you can set up. You select a measure. For now, it's going to be measures. We're going to be adding support for categorical fields as well, but for now, it's going to be measures. And in this case, again, this is the video games data set from yesterday. I'm interested in where my users disagree with critics. So the bigger the discrepancy between scores, that means that users rated games very differently from critics. If it's a negative score, critics preferred the game. If it's a positive score, users preferred the game. And I've already said I want to potentially break this down by various different dimensions in my data set. So things like year of release, month, rating, publisher name, and so on. Usually in Power BI, if I want to break something down, this is basically me defining a hierarchy. So we'd start with year of release, and we drill down into maybe 2011, then we drill down into a month, and so on. But what's special about the decomposition tree is you can break down into any dimension that you want. So you're not bound by that. So it's really a great tool for exploring your data. So if I want to look into something like genre, I can start with that dimension. And this capability is going to be available for both analysts, of course, but also business users. So it gives your business users so much more exploration power. Now, based on my conversations so far with users, it sounds like you want versatility in terms of how much control you want to give your users. Sometimes you want them to just explore the tree in its entirety. You don't want them to change and drill into various dimensions. Sometimes you want to just give them a blank canvas and let them explore whatever they want. So we're going to also give you the ability to lock levels. So if you want to say my users have to start with year, but after that they can go into whatever they want, you'll be able to control that for your business users. If you want to build the whole tree and say, no, you have to explore this particular tree, maybe I've built this, and I've locked all of these levels, I just want you to be able to explore various paths, you'll be able to do that too. So there's going to be a lot of versatility for your business users with this. And now where does the AI bit come in? So one way for me to explore the tree is to figure out if I'm interested in maybe my sports games and I want to see where does this gap grow, basically. I can try out year of release and month and kind of just explore this data. But we just want to make it so much quicker for you to explore this with Power BI and the sprinkling of AI we're going to introduce. So we're going to give you a couple of different types of paths that you can basically explore. Maximum and minimum split are basically where I want to follow a maximum path or I want to follow a minimum path. So in this case, if I want to see where this discrepancy is growing, where does the score become more negative, I'll basically say, hey, help me follow the minimum path. What's the next dimension I should look at? If I want to maybe find an interesting maximum within a minimum, then I could select maximum path.
Can I use this for root cause analysis?
Yes, this is exactly what you should be using this for. This is a great visualization for root cause analysis. For best split, this is going to really give you kind of where do I see a lot of spread in my data? Where do I see a lot of variation? So it's not necessarily maybe the maximum or minimum, but what's kind of an interesting dimension for me to look at in terms of variance. So there's going to be various different ways for you to explore this data. If I select something like, again, minimum split, it tells me platform is interesting, and specifically PC sports games. This is kind of an interesting subgroup we found. And it's up to me how far down I want to go with this tree. I can just ask Power BI to keep following this path. And in this case, again, if you've saw the keynote demo, what does this great path unveil? We see it's all the different FIFA games where critics and users continuously disagree. Critics give scores in the 80s, users give scores in the 40s. Seems like a continuous pattern that seems to be going on. Now, over here you can see that the various paths that are using the AI splits are going to be marked in this little light bulb. And in the longer run, because I've actually done 3 AI splits, all of them will have been. This is still a preview build, so this is a little bit just behind in terms of the functionality that will be available to you. But you're going to have this light bulb in all 3 splits. So what does that actually enable? Well, when you're exploring the paths, we're going to just recalculate the minimum paths for you across the different dimensions. So if I select racing games, this path could look very, very different to what it looks like for sports games. So again, if it's AI-driven kind of paths that we're going to be doing, these dimensions could recalculate. If it's user-driven paths, we're going to keep the different splits. We're also going to be looking to potentially, again, based on kind of conversations, how conversations go with you guys, how you feel about these things. But one of the things we're also potentially looking at is, can we look at 2 measures for basically finding interesting AI journeys? So can we find journeys where maybe there's a large discrepancy in measures, or where they go up together or go down together? So there's a lot of potential that we could really go down with this visualization, and I'd love to hear your feedback. How can we make this more valuable in terms of just automating some of these capabilities for you to explore these trees? So with that, we are running out of time, so I just want to get this slide up as I kind of summarize the session, but I'm just going to make this screen. So quick start guide. If you're interested in automated ML, cognitive services, Azure ML, here's a link that you can go to for some, basically, to get started quickly. Video tutorial on key influencers. If you want to start using the visualization, you can follow a tutorial end to end. Our emails are up on the screen. Again, I'm emphasizing this. If you have feedback, if you have ideas for these visualizations, pain points, use cases, you want to collaborate with us, just get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to be part of preview programs, again, let us know. But to just wrap everything up, talked about end user capabilities, how you can use things like AI visualizations, which is a large investment for us, to be able to explore your data. Bogdan showed you an amazing end-to-end use case of automated ML and how you can really use it for your business. And again, I'd love to encourage you guys to think about how you can take something like the water pumps example and think, how does it apply to your use cases? How does it apply to HR use cases? Marketing use cases? We'd love to hear from you. If you think that it does apply, let us know. Seriously, get in touch with Bogdan.
We are practically working for you. I mean, if you want something, we'd love to put it here.
Yes. And thank you so much for your time. We hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you very much.